All right. So I was born October 25, 1956 in Tokyo, Japan. Hence my early nickname, which I so disliked as a kid, Ricky Tiki Tokyo. Someone even called me Dick once. So, my dad, Chuck, was a California native who piloted B-17s at the age of 19 with the 8th Army Air Corps from England during World War II. Later graduated from USC, rejoined the then Air Force, flew military cargo transports, was an advance agent for the Secret Service during LBJ's administration, and was awarded the highest peacetime medal, the Legion of Merit, retiring as lieutenant colonel. He died in 1982 at the age of 57. He committed suicide. He was manic depressive and was smarter than the psychiatrists. My mom, Bobby, moved from Michigan to California as a teen with her mother after a divorce, attended USC where she met Dad, and raised 4 kids, losing 2 of them, and her only grandson. She lived in Irvine, was active for decades at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church in Newport Beach, and is 98 years old and a half today. My oldest brother, Mike, is a retired U.S. Army officer nurse and then retired nursing professor in Pocatello, Idaho, where his wife, Pat, is retired as a nursing administrator. My second older brother, Dave, died in 1986 at the age of 32 in a mid-air collision as an Air Force F-15 instructor pilot at Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix. He has 2 grown, amazing, married, godly daughters, Laura and Lisa, who live in Houston and Flagstaff. My younger sister and then best friend, Nancy, died quickly of leukemia in 1968 at the age of 7 when we lived in Germany. My lifelong passion for travel, including being a member, along with Susan now, of the Worldwide Travelers Century Club, with 114 countries, 5 continents, and 44 states as of now, came from my early life as a military brat, never living longer than 4 years in any one place, which explains why I chose to only own 3 homes as an adult. So I was privileged to live in Japan, Hawaii, Alabama, Washington, D.C., the Philippines, South Carolina, Germany, and Georgia, all by age 14. Before attending 10th through 12th grades at an American boarding school in Lausanne, in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, a ski resort above Lake Geneva, with mandatory skiing every afternoon in the winter, with class letting out at 1 p.m. and had to go on the slopes. My parents were suffering, however, in Libya, where there were no American high schools, so I visited them there at Christmas and summers, where my dad, then retired from the Air Force, was flying as an instructor pilot to the Libyan Air Force for Lockheed. My prior interest in Little League, Scouts, girls, and early entrepreneurship led to extensive leadership roles at boarding school. I was dorm proctor, senior class president, National Honor Society member on both the school and the junior Swiss national ski patrol teams. Started on the basketball, soccer, ski, tennis, and ping pong teams. I produced weekly school dances and even convinced the headmaster to buy beer for the seniors. I was a newspaper editor, and I ran an after-hours dorm snack bar chef, cooking grilled Swiss cheese sandwiches for fellow students who had the late evening munchies on the hot plate in my room, with zero food costs, because my girlfriend, we would put French bread and Swiss cheese and butter in her hoodie and walk out of there. So I had zero food costs and zero marketing, because all I had to do was fire up the thing, and these guys that are high that night would just come, hey man, you got some sandwiches? I practiced German. Learning more about cooking in the school's kitchen was Herr Bischoff. The chef had been General Rommel's chef during World War II. And then he was captured by the Americans, and he became General Eisenhower's chef during World War II, and later chef at the White House. I met Patrick's mom there our junior year. I traveled to 12 countries with other students during my 3 years there. My folks, thankfully, retired back to Southern California during my senior year, where Dad had been a native and where Mom had moved as a youth, and where they had met after World War II at USC. USC being one of the easy targets of my jokes over the years. I moved to Newport Beach with them after graduating in 1974, and I always wanted the bumper sticker that read, "Not a native, but I got here as quick as I could." Having lived and traveled all over the world, there is no better place for me for year-round living than Southern California. I cooked at Coco's Fashion Island and later Villanova while attending UCI for 1 year and then Cal State Fullerton for 3 years. I formed the first Toastmasters Club on a college campus in the U.S., where I crafted my public speaking abilities. Became a lifetime member of Mensa, never actually telling others that until now. You're thinking, really? Who knew? And I graduated with honors with a BA in Business Administration in 1978, where I was treasurer of Phi Kappa Tau fraternity. Got married to Patrick's mom 2 days later, started my CPA career 9 days later, and bought my first home in Orange a year later at age 22, earning my CPA certificate in 1980. I had a heart to serve long before I became a fully devoted follower of Christ. I started serving as a trustee and speaker for the Leukemia Society to honor my sister, became a big brother, a very early AYSO coach, a regular Red Cross donor of blood and then pheresis, a Republican Associates Board member, a founding member of the Orange County Performing Arts Center's Center 500 and their estate and gift planning committee. In 1981, I became a 50% partner in a local CPA firm until splitting away in 1990 to form McCarthy & Associates. My dad died in 1982, followed by my brother Dave in 1986. 1986 ended with the blessed cooperative adoption gift of my beloved son Patrick at birth. The story of our decision to allow Patrick's beautiful continuing relationship with his birth mother and her family was featured in the Orange County Register on his first birthday. Being Patrick's dad was truly the coolest job I ever had. He attended Christian grade schools, then Costa Mesa and Foothill High Schools, graduated from Humboldt State University in 2009 with a business degree, where he started an MMA team and fought in a casino. Rather difficult for a parent to watch, but he won. That's when he came off with blood all over him, and he saw the look of terror on my face. He goes, "Don't worry, Dad, it's not my blood." And he was passionate about fitness, guns, craft beers, philosophy, painting, reading, surfing, and the outdoors. Patrick beat me to heaven in 2018, and you can just imagine our reunion there soon. Professionally, I was on the board of the Planned Giving Roundtable. I was a featured speaker on tax, political, and charitable topics. Taught basic taxation for the American Institute of Philanthropic Studies, helping professional advisors learn about planned giving, and a monthly opinion column in the Orange County Business Journal called To the Point. I was also involved as a principal in 2 startups focused on family values, @families.com and the Good Kids Company. After Dad's death as a non-believer, my brother Dave, a devout Christian, became convicted to never again lose another family member on his or his wife's side of the family without the certainty of knowing he would be reunited with them again in heaven. His loving faithfulness contributed to both of his brothers later accepting Christ, before ironically Dave's own death being the next one in the family. I was baptized, led a small group, chaired the administrative committee, and later became an elder at the former South Coast Community Church. I enjoyed 7 rich years of BSF, Bible Study Fellowship, learning. My head knowledge about God had not gotten to my saving heart relationship with God yet, though, and I soon chose an affair and divorce to then endure what it turned out to be a very challenged second marriage, but with the very great blessing of receiving my beloved stepdaughter, Jennifer. The Lord finally had gotten my full attention toward the end of that season. My love of Jesus had evolved over many years until it finally became primary in my life, my heart, my time, my finances, and my walk. I went through the master's program with Bob Schenck. I joined the Barnabas Group at the beginning, served as an advisor at Mariner Church's South Coast Early Childhood Center, started a men's accountability group that lasted for decades, served on the Sheepfold Ministry Board, serving abused women with children for over 35 years, committed to physical purity and singleness, and finally grew into a spirit-filled heart relationship pursuing my beloved Lord. I then pursued and courted Susan, marrying in 2004 my true Proverbs 31 woman, aptly named Sunshine by God. Our shared love of the Lord, travel, wining, dining, entertaining, unique experiences, and kingdom serving has led to an amazingly blessed, abundant, full, and fun adventure together. We've mentored numerous couples together through courtship, early marriage, and early parenting, and later pastors, missionaries, and particularly ministry leaders, and particularly ministries through Standing Stone Ministry, whose board I founded, chaired, and served on with her. We serve with Bonjour Nouveau biannually in beleaguered Eastern DR Congo, and both were on the board of the related Africa New Day here, which I also founded and chaired. We also enjoyed together the Barnabas Group, Christian Leadership Alliance conferences, Think Summits, Convene gatherings, and innumerable other Christian conferences, retreats, and workshops growing together. We love sharing God's home, Duffy, cars, and joy of entertaining others. After 28 years as a CPA, I finally identified through the master's program that the true convergence of my career, what I was paid for as a CPA, helping leaders grow their business, and my calling, what I was made for, helping men raise the bar in their Christian walk, was as a 20-year chair for Convene, coaching Christian CEOs, a deep privilege I cherish. Only then did my true passion between the 9-to-5 workday begin for me. I am so grateful that my eventual part-time CPA practice has afforded my bride to serve God full-time, for me to serve several ministries with most of my time, and for us to travel as much as 175 days per year together. I also serve all Convene chairs through facilitating 2 national programs and helping many launch their own teams. I chaired the supervisory committee for 16 years at ECCU, Evangelical Christian Credit Union, later Adelphi. I was also the national managing partner of all Barnabas Group chapters across the U.S., visiting each with Susan and serving each of their managing partners, board chairs, and boards. Other areas of service and support throughout the years were Orange County Wine Society, Homeward Bound Board, Pacific Justice Institute Advisory Board, raising funds for the National World War II Memorial in D.C., raising $100,000 for and visiting 10 World Vision community banks in rural Mexico for the Barnabas Group, with $104,000 still being reloaned 20-plus years later. Promise Keepers, through which 3 of my close college buddies accepted Christ over the years. Mentoring a rural pastor couple with Susan for Village Missions. Association for Christian Character Development, Kingdom Assignment, Groundwire, Pocket Testament League, the Finishing Fund, Foundations of Freedom, and recruiting for both the Master's Program and the Barnabas Group. I love to break the dull CPA stereotype through funny speeches and monthly newsletters with political cartoons, humorous McCarthy and Associates Christmas cards that won a number of awards from the Orange County Register over the years, April 15th guest chef nights in restaurant exhibition kitchens, celebrating the end of tax season, and being the only male CPA known to sport an earring, playfully given to me by my staff one infamous Boss's Day in 1992, often being introduced as the CPA with a sense of humor like there's only one, and I love to roast my daring friends at their decade birthdays. I love to write, from editing my high school newspaper with my radical early 1970s political editorials about the school's administration, to my Orange County Business Journal opinion column in the 1980s, to my Monday morning handwritten letters to Patrick starting in college, to my ongoing love and affirmation journal postings recapping our abundant life experiences together to Susan that I give her 3 times a year, to my political emails and texts, what the lamestream media is not telling me, to writing the 600-page Defining Moments book on faith-based travel with Susan, to my farewell message to be shared in my memorial. I was notorious for irritatingly writing in very small print, a habit started in boarding school when I wrote my family via cheaper postcards rather than letters so I could better afford the important stuff, like beer. As I sadly continued to exercise that habit my whole life, I deservedly paid the price as my eyesight also aged. I wrote Rick's Life, Stories and Their Lessons in 2025. Ask Susan for a copy if you're still interested in learning more about it. I also irritatingly speak softly. Childhood, because we had to walk on eggshells in our home with no exuberance allowed from a child because of an angry father. And as an adult, because of all the confidential relationships I've had with clients, with mentees, with coaching, and with counseling. I'm also an avid reader, an info junkie, who loves to pass along gems I discover to others about politics, faith, travel, restaurants. I read the entire fiction works of an eclectic mix of over 38 authors, including the full works of Shakespeare, though only once, unlike Patrick, who read Shakespeare twice. Raised as an Air Force brat with both brothers following Dad and becoming career military officers, I describe myself as the capitalist of the family, only able to do what I do because of the freedoms that came from what they did. I'm conservative politically, cheering up shamelessly at anything patriotic. I'm also an inviter who loves to share new possibilities with others, whether it be through my love of great questions or through inviting people to family reunions, high school reunions, cruises, unique experiences, concerts, plays, Christian movies, Christian events, fundraisers, restaurant weeks, starts today, travel and dining ideas, or just fellowshipping over a tasty meal and a bottle or two of wine. Many of you know that my motto, which describes well my love of experiences, is I'll try anything, twice. My personal mission is to use my gifts, including Holy Spirit discernment, capacity, and humor, to lovingly equip and influence influencers by challenging their thinking and behaviors and by connecting them with growth and service opportunities to achieve God's will. God gave me the name Builder of Men at Gideon Spring in Israel in 2005. I was inspired by both witnessing my brother Dave's godly model and by my conviction to help men avoid the hurt and damage I caused to so many when I chose divorce decades earlier. My passion and common thread in nearly all of my ministries is to leverage leaders in their home, organizations, and ministries to have kingdom impact. I believe passionately so many of society's woes could be reversed if men would just man up to their true identity in Christ.